quick. Kind of jump through it a little bit there. Hey, my friends, this is Rick, and this is your seat at the table. And we're looking at Star Wars, Shadows of Empire sourcebook. I can tell you, without a doubt, that I was stoked when the novel came out. I really enjoyed the novel because first yes, Legends. Well, this is what I think about you, Disney, and your Legends. The first thing that Shadows of Empire did was it opened up that brief window about what happened between the Empire and Return of the Jedi. Yep. Forgive me a minute there, but I think I have a little bit of frozen iced up Pepsi for the moment. Get some caffeine kick. So that particular book came out, and it opened up missing links, and it told us a little bit more. It gave us actually a really good story about what took place after Jabba, or after the Return of the Jedi, and how they got Han Solo back, and other books and series and stuff in the canon or Legends at the time, especially when it came to the game material. Another aspect is it opened up a larger window of a different aspect that had been touched on in the works. We knew about the Hutts and Jabba and some of the criminal enterprises. We knew of both Lando and Han Solo's checkered past, etc., etc. It introduced Luke and Leia to some of that. It introduced us to just how big the criminal elements of the Star Wars universe are and how connected they are all the way to the top levels. And just how much of a mover or shaker, how much of a piece of the pie it is. It also gives us some views of different locations, like typical. And then, of course, on a personal, pervy kind of part, it really showed Leia to be a much warmer, much more intimate-minded individual, even if she was being influenced by somebody's hormones. But it also helped her develop her attachment between herself and Han, in my opinion. It gave Chewbacca a little bit bigger role to play. And I enjoyed it so much. And I've reread the novel so many times. So when they came out with the source book, it was a no-brainer. I absolutely had to have it. Of course, I was going to have it anyway, because that's what I do. Or I did anyway. Whenever these things came out, I bought everything. So we go into the long time ago and far, far away. Xizer's plot, the source book itself. First printing of June is 1996. I think I paid $18, $20 for it. I don't know that this has a tag in it. I bought most of the stuff from Ivor's Dungeon and while he was still in business, and he was really good about putting tags on them. It was $20 according to the cover, but I'm pretty sure I bought this and he was still in business in 96. It was 97 or 98. He retired, sold out, and then the place got bought up by a place called Mayhem Comics. Anyway, introduction between Empire and Jedi, Shadows of the Empire sourcebook, stage. We got going on. We got more information on the chief characters, Rebel Alliance. We're talking stats and statistics, more advanced, of course, because they were developing and they've done things. So we got Luke and Leia here, Chewbacca, Lando Calrissian, C-3PO and R2-D2, Rogue Squadron. This is when Rogue Squadron, as the novel series was starting to ramp up. Commander Wedge Antilles, various members at that point. Wes Jansen, Chief, is a typical rebel technician. The Bothan Spynet. You get more information on the Bothans in general and their participation and how they work within the Empire or adjacent to it. The character handoff. Chapter 2 is the Empire itself. Character development, Darth Vader, the Emperor. A couple of team characters from the Shadows of the Empire. Coruscant Stars, Admiral Orkin. Then to Tarlin, General Sindo. Potentially gives you a little opportunity to get an understanding how the imperial elements. The imperial hierarchy can be circumvented and or subjugated by powerful crime lords such as Zizor. I pronounce it Xizor, so I don't know how. I've heard his name pronounced in another way or two, and I understand that, but I'm not them, I'm me. And it's like pronunciations in certain words. Let's get that straight and to the point. I know I sometimes butcher exactly because I can't pronounce the terms, but I pronounce them the best way I can, the best way I know how. And I'm not a literary major. I'm not a linguist. I do have a little dyslexia going on, always have, and I also have this mindset of making things fit what I want them to fit, because I don't care about the grander thing of things. So Zizor, as I pronounce him, he's a hell of a character, and I do truly like him. And I like the advent of Guri. Guri is the ultimate, the pinnacle of robotics, of how sophisticated and natural seeming and natural appearing robotics can be if you got enough credits to toss around. And the fact that she's portrayed as a unique character within the book is also countered by the fact that her creator made a duplicate of himself because he assumed at some point they were going to eliminate him. And smart man, right? But that also suggests to me that they are not the end all, the beat all, that there are other Guris in the galactic universe. Black Sun operatives, Black Sun's Vigos, how the Vigo system works. Now, I like it better here than how it's portrayed in some of the animated Star Wars, the Clone Wars. Because in the Clone Wars, the Vigos are all from Xizor's people or something. They all are carbon copies of each other, physically speaking. I like the idea of this element of variety from the galaxy as having risen to the top of this massive criminal empire. So, various additional Vigos that are pertinent at time, and some of them don't live through the whole thing. Some get replaced later. We got the Pike sisters, a few other people on the elements of the Fringe. That brings us to chapter 4. The Fringe, Dash Rendor. This is everything Han Solo could have been if he was a true mercenary, if he was a true in it for himself and Chewie mindset, instead of having that something else element. That's one of the reasons a lot of people took umbrage with Solo, the independent movie. I did too. There were certain elements in it that I kind of didn't like, mostly because they weren't, in my mind, true to the established legends, and that's fair. That's fine. I get it. But the character of Solo himself, portrayed as a young man, as this having an ideology that is so deeply set that no matter how scoundrelish he tries to be, how much of a reckless, crazy person he tries to be, he still has a piece of gold in him, a diamond inside that he absolutely cannot divert from. That's what sets him apart from a fellow like Dash Rendor. Dash Rendor is what, and I think that's how come they wrote him this way. I personally believe Dash Rendor was created to be what Han Solo couldn't be. Just saying. He does not have, there's more Lando in him than and Lando has a much more complicated story in my eyes. Levo, Jabba the Hutt, some more information on the Hutt. A typical swoop gang. This shows up in other supplements and stuff in the games, and always found that that's always interesting and fun to have extra stuff to play with, extra tools in the toolbox to toss around. More information on bounty hunters. Some additional bounty hunters, some good, some not so good. The original Bosch, the one that Leah manages to get, is handed the Bosch's uniform to wear, his survival suit, to allow her to sneak on them to Coruscant and snoop a really nasty Wookiee bounty hunter, and gives you an element of why Wookiees can be so bad or have such a reputation, so on and so forth. Other characters, a lot of these are from the novel, of course, and you should go. I highly suggest reading the novel. If you have not read the novel, read the novel. So we got chapter 5 plans, Bothwa, the Bothan's homeworld, how they function. Coruscant, Imperial Palace, Lord Vader's Castle, Izor's Palace, Southern Underground. I always wished they'd made a movie based off of this. You know, if Disney wants to look at some of the legend stuff, this would be an awesome one-up video or movie. Just, you know, they won't do it, but that's, geez, the opportunities for such funds there. Kothis. Imagine Aaliyah character trying hard to to dress seductively but modestly at the same time, and agonizing over why she feels such strong attractions to this alien she has never met before, etc., and how she's getting all hot and bothered. Geez, I'm sorry, but that's those hormones that come from my teenage years on seeing Aaliyah as a, yeah, Carrie Fisher understood. Millions of crazy nut boys like me were out there, and a few girls too. So anyway, Rhodia the planet. Flip of a credit casino, the Garso asteroid field, Czar. Lots of good information. Most of it's generic to the movie or to the RPG stuff. All right, we get chapter 6, the Palatine, a bit more of their history, their types of personalities, the humans from Eti, which, you know, genetically human tend to have a lighter or less muscular physiques than the human norm. So that's the thing about humans. Humans are the vanilla of Star Wars. They're also the bulk of Star Wars when it comes to people, right? But yet, within the humans, we don't see as huge. They're there. It's in the books. It's in the game and stuff like this, of the variety of human types. But I think they should be more diverse than they are, as we see them in certain other franchises. Movies, true movies, whatever. Chapter 7, droids, talking about asteroids, the training droids that Vader uses. They're cut up like tinfoil every day, information droids. Dead end drop. Message droids. Vader chopping up his droids. Various additional equipment or advanced equipment. New things to add to the table. New toys to play with. Vehicles, same thing. Right? Lots of good stuff. Starships. The Outrider. Dash Rendor's version of the Millennium Falcon. Stinger Gurry's personal ship. Sizer's fighter. Skyhook. Right? There you have it. It's not as, because see, I'm so familiar with the book and the novel. To me, this is just a recap of the book. So there's a lot. If you've never played, if you wanted to play them, use these in the game system, it's an awesome addition. If you've never read the book, this will give you loads of information that will be new and fresh, or expanded, or a different take on things you already know or suspect. If you've read the Shadows of the Empire, I don't know, 20, 30 times like I have, maybe more. And that's just secondhand stuff. So there you have it. Shadows of Empire.